Spring truly is the perfect time to give your wellness routine a little glow up, to start trying out some new healthy habits. Because of the lighter, brighter days, the better weather, what do we think of when we hear summer glow up guide, especially when we're talking about it online? Your brain goes to thinking about spending a ton of money on hair appointments and your nails done, getting waxed. Definitely had summers in the past where I have kind of fallen into a trap of feeling the pressure, like I have to keep up with all this, but we're not going to focus on that here. I'm a big fan of talking about simple little wellness habits that you can do. You change from within, but they create the biggest difference. I'm gonna actually seriously call myself out here. This was me a couple of summers ago, completely bleach blonde hair, not my natural color, I'm sure you can guess. I was experimenting with hair extensions. I had acrylics on my nails. I didn't feel beautiful without my eyelash extensions. I also, one of the biggest ones, I didn't feel beautiful without fake tan. I definitely relied on cosmetic procedures to feel my prettiest. And I remember feeling the least confident I have ever felt. Constantly just trying to be good enough and keep up with these trends. Even though I maybe made it look like it on here, I was never actually all that consistent with healthy routines. I was basically just trying to be someone else. And I want to touch on that because with these summer glow up videos, I feel like a lot of them are titled Become Unrecognizable by Summer. I'll share with you my top glow up tips on how to just embrace yourself naturally, feel more confident, and believe me, these results will last you way longer than summer. I'm challenging myself to be more consistent than I ever have because I'm getting married in August, which has given me this newfound motivation to try really feel my best. So you want to start off by setting yourself a summer goal for personal development. Set yourself a goal that isn't related to work. This is my first time talking about it, but I have decided I want to raise money for a charity this year by running a half marathon. I've been having a lot of fun just working on like becoming a better runner, and now that I'm potentially working towards doing a race later on in the year, it means I'm gonna have to approach running in a more structured way. I love seeing my stamina get better. I love seeing myself get a bit faster. And another goal of mine is I've been loving yoga recently, so I'm sticking to doing, honestly, so manageable. It's just doing yoga once a week. I love it. It gives my body such a good stretch and I feel so at peace afterwards. And so this links back to how spring is actually the perfect time for resolutions. So go ahead and set yourself a goal for this summer, something that gets you excited. I've been prioritizing this recently and it makes such a difference. And this is something that I would not prioritize, especially a couple of years ago. And that is making sure I get 10K steps in every single day. I know we hear this so often. We know that it has great benefits for your health. Actually, finding time to fit 10K steps in a day is way harder than it sounds, especially if you have a desk job. The number one thing I've really changed is making the most of my evenings. And this is something a lot of us can absolutely do. Scheduling in an evening walk. It's one of the forms of exercise that is free. You don't need any equipment. And yes, it has lots of benefits for your health. It's great for your heart health. Also, it has been linked to easing anxiety, improving your mood, and even lowering our cortisol levels. That's the stress hormone. And okay, yes, 10K steps is a lot and it's a good benchmark. However, just increasing how much you walk a bit, even if it's 10 minutes more than you normally would every single day, will absolutely yield health benefits. Detox your mind. And a big way to do that, let's stop consuming stuff that does not serve us. I'm not gonna lie to you, I am in a seriously bad habit of going to TikTok for a quick burst of dopamine at the moment. I will jump to that to like give my brain a break, except it doesn't give my brain a break if it no longer inspires, educates, or makes you feel good. Unfollow it. I don't think we realize just how much energy this actually takes from us. And also, let's talk about improving our confidence. I know that is especially hard this time of year when I am going onto Instagram and I, without meaning to, will be comparing my body to several other beautiful girls that I see on my feed, who's looking the best in the bikini, who's been working out. This time of year is the worst for it. Everyone's on holiday. They're hanging out with friends. They're living their best life. That's not what life looks like 24/7. And so you get struck with the feeling of FOMO. Anxiety often peaks late springtime. And so I want to talk about my paid partner for this video, BetterHelp. BetterHelp can connect you with a therapist who can provide support. Truly, if we're talking about things that you can start today in order to feel a big difference and see a big difference by summer, therapy without a doubt is one. And BetterHelp make it super easy to start. You fill out a questionnaire and they will connect you with a credentialed therapist as soon as possible. And don't worry if you don't necessarily connect with your therapist. You can easily switch to a different therapist at any time at no extra cost. The amazing thing about BetterHelp, and something that really caught my attention, was the fact that it is fully online. So you can have these therapy sessions from the comfort of your own home, whether it's just on message, it can be a voice call, it can be a video call, however you feel most comfortable. The majority of BetterHelp members actually seek support for anxiety, and 69% of members report improved anxiety symptoms after just 6 weeks of therapy with BetterHelp. So let BetterHelp help you rule your anxiety so that your anxiety doesn't rule you. Click the link in the description bar or simply go to betterhelp.com/beccawatson in order to get 10% off your first month of therapy. Let's stop putting self-care habits at the bottom of our to-do list. And I fully get it. Life is chaotic. It completely gets in the way. But finding time to even wake up earlier and start journaling, tracking your thoughts or goals, habits, just simply doing a brain dump, or a big one is practicing gratitude. Something I'm currently doing is setting myself a 30-day journaling exercise. It doesn't have to be a whole page. I know I've just called it this challenge, but honestly, it's not rigid at all. It is just simply writing out a few sentences, or sometimes it is a whole page, down every single day. Journaling is a great way of practicing gratitude. And to be fair, practicing gratitude doesn't have to be something that, this thing of listing all these things I'm grateful for. Something I actually love doing is asking Will, my partner, at the end of the day, what was your favorite bit of your day? What was the best part about your day? And you'll find it usually does evolve into a conversation where you have that mindset shift because you are focusing on the good. Other little self-care practices are things like meditation, things that just help clear out that mental clutter. To be honest, I've already spoken about it, but for me, a big one is yoga. And I used to think of yoga as, because it wouldn't really work my body. It wasn't like this practice, this workout that was gonna build me muscles or be extreme cardio or work me towards those fitness goals. Definitely used to be something that was I don't think that's for me. Actually, I find it quite boring. But since I have been focusing a lot more on its benefits, and this sounds so ridiculous, but the breathing practices you get from yoga and just being off your phone, fully disconnected for 45 minutes for an hour, nothing switches off my brain as well as yoga. Let's talk about food, because I think that's where a lot of our brains go when we're talking about a glow up. Okay, I've just had to pop out to the shop to do a little food shop because there's a recipe I really want to make tonight. It looks so yummy. We're gonna have salmon, butter beans, creamy butter beans. You guys know I love my butter beans. So I've got the ingredients. Now I'm gonna go home, make some dinner. I have definitely been there. Work out more, eat less. That's probably the way to tone up, right? But when your body is in an energy deficit for so long, it stops thriving. It then holds on to fat, burns through muscle, and basically slows everything down to conserve energy. So when we're talking about healthy eating, I like to reframe it. It's not about restriction, it's about fuel. I don't personally like to focus too much on calories. I like to focus more on ingredients. Little things that make me feel better are prioritizing protein with every meal, because it's gonna help you feel fuller for longer. Not skipping on things like healthy fats, your avocados, olive oil, nuts, seeds. Your skin and your hormones need these. Recently, I've been paying a bit more attention to hydration. This is kind of odd, but I was finding that my foundation, my makeup was separating quite a lot on my face. And I've heard people say it's from using a silicone-based primer with a water-based foundation, or the other way around. But then I came across someone talking about actually sometimes that's the case, but a lot of the time it's because your skin isn't hydrated enough. And it doesn't matter how many times you moisturize. It can literally be down to how much water have you had. We have this one pan Tuscan salmon situation with butter beans. Nice and healthy, but also should be yummy. However, I've never made this before, so.
Looks good.
You can be the judge. And so we're talking about a glow up. And yeah, a lot of the time the inside first approach works, and then you'll see it on the outside. Last week I went on a 5k run, which I feel like is my typical length. If I'm gonna go for a run, I will always push myself to try curl out a 5k. Last week I did my fastest 5k maybe ever, or at least in a very long time. According to my Strava, it was my fastest 5k ever. I think I did it in about 27 minutes something, which I understand is not impressive to a lot of people, but for me, I was very proud of myself. And today I want to see if I can get a similar time, or maybe even a little faster. Look at my hair, this is annoying me, but it's a very sunny day. I want to spend some time outside, but I also want to get a workout in, and this feels like the perfect combination. So we got light layers so that I don't completely overheat and die. I'm gonna go run along the river as well. I'm going to take a really nice little river route, which to be fair is like quite an easy run because it's mostly flat, but it's also just very scenic and it's nice. My period has decided to show up today, just being very honest. So let's see if that slows me down. It might, and if it does, that's okay. Okay, I have to be so honest. I've had to stop because I feel like 5 times heavier today. Day 1 of my cycle, and it feels so hard. I feel so heavy. I'm on 2.5, so I'm halfway. Whew. Okay, the period pains may have won on this occasion, but I went for 4k in 23 minutes. That's not too bad. My hair desperately needs a wash. So I thought part of this video I could talk you through kind of what I've been doing for hair care. I am trying my best to leave my hair alone for as long as I can. And when it gets closer to August for my wedding, I might like dye it because, like I said, I used to be blonde and I feel like you can still see the blonde underneath the brown, especially on my ends. My ends are way more dry than like the rest of my hair. I definitely have quite oily hair. Down here, it's super dry. It's been kind of tough getting it to look nice, but these are the steps I've done. I want to talk about hair oiling because I feel like hair oiling is something we see all over social media and it isn't necessarily for everyone, and I think you can absolutely also overdo the hair oiling. I know a few weeks ago I definitely did, and then I suddenly had flakes of dandruff, which I know is not normal for my scalp. Be using, I actually can't find it, the like rosemary hair oil that we see all over TikTok, and I would pop that all over my scalp. I'd maybe leave it for too long, but to be fair, it's not like I would leave it in there all day, and then I would go shower, and I honestly think it more so blocked my hair follicles. However, I've recently been trying, this is the ordinary glycolic acid. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. I just pop a bit of this on my scalp before I'm gonna shower. I only do it once a week, so I'm not gonna do it today, and I'll leave it for like 20 minutes max. And I find, I don't know if it helps to like absorb the oil or exfoliates the scalp, from doing it the very first time is instantly less greasy looking on day 2. So that's been kind of amazing. Then my ride or die, when I don't use this, I can tell a difference. This is the 𝓕𝓲𝓷𝓭 Acidic Bonding Concentrate. I have the shampoo and conditioner. I won't get too close with this bottle because it's completely beat up. But I also love, for a little hair mask, the Metal Detox mask. Professional mask from L'Oreal. That's also really great. That's like an in-shower mask. I don't actually have any right now, but I do swear by Olaplex No. 3. Everyone's heard Olaplex a million times when it comes to hair care. It's expensive, but if you have like healthy virgin hair, do not spend your money on like Olaplex or K18, all these really expensive hair care products. I'd say investing in a more like salon quality shampoo and conditioner makes all the difference. If you're like me and you have more processed hair that's maybe been through it, yes, the masks are worth it. Anyway, I'm gonna shower and I'll see you after. Wrapped up just in an old t-shirt because I find it literally does the same thing as a microfiber towel, except I don't have one of those. We're talking about summer here, which means a big one for me is keeping my skin my body skin hydrated and cover myself in a body oil. This is quite an affordable one, just by Palmer's. Using this paired with a good body moisturizer, I've been using the Cetaphil one. It like keeps hydration locked in all day. And then I cannot stress enough how saturated the skincare market is. This was my skin 2 summers ago, and this is my skin now. This was me when I was just experimenting with anything and everything. And the truth is, I just had to keep my skincare routine very, very simple. So because I have suffered from acne before, I use this Trisellin prescription gel. Very, very strong. It's pretty drying on the skin, but it really keeps my skin acne free. And then because I use that treatment, I like to go in with a really heavy duty moisturizer. This is from 𝓕𝓲𝓵𝓶𝓲. It's their 𝓕𝓲𝓵𝓶𝓲𝓷𝓭 balm. I've used this before in videos and people always tell me, don't use that as a daily moisturizer. I think because it's so thick and heavy, but that's the thing, like this is what works for me. And that's why you shouldn't just follow another person's skincare routine on social media. Skin is so unique to you. And then I also use 𝓕𝓲𝓵𝓶𝓲 SPF, of course, because you really should be wearing SPF all year round, especially in summer. Even on a cloudy day, believe me, there's no point in having fancy facials or spending your money on expensive retinols if you are not doing this every single day. For breakfast this morning, I think I want to just do something very quick and easy, like a bowl of oats. And here we go, this is my little bowl of oats. I'm always trying to get more legumes in my diet, so I pop in some seeds, chia seeds, I got some frozen fruit in there. I just add in some almond butter. Makeup done, hair done, I am ready for the day. Actually, I'm starting the day in a very nice way. I'm gonna do these nails. I'm going away for Easter weekend, and I've just had plain nails for like the past few weeks. To be honest, I don't mind them. And I'm glad I'm not in the habit and the cycle of like having acrylic nails back to back. But to be fair, like if that's your thing and that's your thing that makes you feel good and it's absolutely worth spending the money, like don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I'm working on my nail health at the moment. So I love to use this thing called Green Flash by Nutritious. I've spoken about it before, but it's just a lot more gentle on my nails, but still it lasts longer than like normal nail polish. What color? I'm thinking just like a nice red. We're going for this color. Continuing on with the skincare tips, because I realized there was a couple things I do as part of my skincare routine that I did not mention. A big one that I'm finally being more consistent with, and I can tell you it makes all the difference. And interestingly, I've seen news articles come out about this where people are starting to look into just how legit are they, and that is LED face masks, at-home ones, because I feel like that market previously, it was always like you would go get a facial and you'd maybe get LED therapy within that facial, but now there's so many masks, and I have one by Current Body that is so easy to use. I use it about 3 times a week. It takes 10 minutes. I'll watch TV or meditate maybe if it's the morning. I don't do that every morning, but when I do, it's really nice. And that LED light, essentially what it's doing is stimulating the cell turnover in your skin. So it's amazing for skin texture. It's amazing for if you're like me and you maybe have some acne scars. That has probably been the thing I've done that makes the biggest difference. I know a lot of people recommend vitamin C serum for your skin if you have acne scars, which is a great thing to add in your routine. But for me, I think because my scars are quite deep, my LED mask has definitely made the biggest difference. And honestly, with any skincare tips and tricks, it's always about consistency. Can I multitask? Let's see. Another thing I swear by, and this is related to skincare, but also touching on nutrition, is eating your skincare, which of course sounds very odd. But honestly, it's stuff we should all be prioritizing more than these expensive serums. For example, I've started adding courgette to my morning smoothies. Why? Because it helps boost my skin's glow, and I've noticed this massively. Courgettes are rich in vitamin C, antioxidants, and these are great hydration properties. So basically that's what leads to your glowy, healthy skin. All great for things like collagen production. Plus, why I add them to my smoothies is because they have such a bland taste that you normally can't taste the courgette. and also they kind of make your smoothies creamier. And then of course, adding in just like a handful of spinach, kale, your greens into your smoothie is an easy way of getting antioxidants in. You saw this morning, I also, with like my oatmeal, it's so easy to top those things with flax seeds, with sunflower seeds, chia seeds, or walnuts. I think I forgot to do that this morning. Walnuts, actually great for your skin. Let's talk about hair care. I spoke about it a little bit before, but just to finish that off, things I have been doing, so leaving my hair alone. I'm like trying my best not to put color on it. I do like to use heat on it though. So in order to keep it sort of as healthy as I can, I do like to use the 𝓕𝓲𝓵𝓶 oil. The reason why I like that one so much and I recommend it for my fine hair girls is that it's not that heavy in oil. Some oils really like weigh down the ends of my hair. And really easy things you can do is sleeping with your hair in a braid, like a really loose braid, tie it up with a silk or satin scrunchie at the end. Also something I have done for years, and it's not just great for your hair, it's great for your skin. Sleeping with a satin pillowcase. What do we think of this color? I like how it's quite bright. It's like a very, very bright red. Let's talk about sleep. Of course, we've heard it a million times that we should be getting our 7 to 9 hours a night. There's research out there to prove that women actually need more sleep, fun fact. But relating it back to glowing up, looking your best, feeling your best, our skin goes into repair mode whilst we're asleep. So again, things like boosting your collagen, increasing hydration, a good regular sleep pattern is gonna help all of that. If I get good sleep and I stick to a sleep schedule, I, without a doubt, will feel sharper. I'll feel like I have better mental clarity. And that makes me a more confident person during the day. When you stick to a sleep schedule, and don't get me wrong, it's hard on the weekends, but I have recently been making sure I get up earlier on a Saturday. What I've been doing is doing hot mat Pilates on a Saturday morning. It's this recurring class, I love it. It makes me feel so good at the start of the weekend, but it's at 7:30, which I know is early, but I book it and therefore like I have to show up. And honestly, I find by the end of the week, my body isn't like missing that sleep in. Yes, sleeping in is so normal, and honestly Sunday tends to be my sleep in day. But if you're someone who gets up at 6 during the week because you have to get up at that time for work, and then you're letting your body sleep until 10 at the weekends, that dramatic change in your sleep schedule isn't the best for you. Of course, life gets in the way. When you need to sleep in, sleep in. But for me, my sleep schedule is like the foundation for every other healthy habit to fall in place. And for me, I need it so that I'm not relying on motivation and instead alignment with my life. So something you can start doing is setting a consistent wake up and bedtime, creating a cool room when you go to sleep, especially in summer. We sleep better in cooler atmospheres. And I always say it, romanticize your routine if it's the last hour before you go to bed. Dim the lights, have that herbal tea, and unwind. Your goal here may just be to look better by summer. I want you to look at it as more of like a lifestyle change and something that's gonna serve you so much more. And why focusing on arbitrary goals, your motivation for that is gonna change over the years. I just feel like trying to rush the process like I have done in the past has always sabotaged me. Focus more on your mindset, because confidence at the end of the day is the thing that is gonna make you feel 10 times more attractive. Okay, that was the last layer of polish I've just done my top coat. All cute. Those were my top little glow up tips, internally, externally, just what I'm focusing on right now to feel my best for it this summer. Thank you guys for watching. I'm so excited for this nicer weather heading our way, and I will see you guys very soon in the next one.